Hey friendos, what's going on? Steve here. So Bash in Berlin is in the books. Another one of those small 5-match premium live events that WWE puts on. I'll be honest with you, man, your takes seem to be all over the place. I went through and I favorited all the takes that I'm going to use today, and there does not seem to be a consensus on like anything. So whatever is hot, whatever is cold, you guys let me know in the comments below. Let's go ahead and dive into them. Florin says Cody Rhodes needs to lose the title ASAP. WWE knows this dude sucks, so they put him as the opener, not even right before the main event. I hope we get an ECW one night stand in 2024 and the crowd boos. All right. All right. Oh man. Okay. This is kind of a hot take, I guess. I hate to break it to you. You ain't going to lose the title anytime soon. I do kind of think that it would be more interesting for like Kevin Owens, part of his, I don't know, heel turn, which is happening. We saw the beginnings of it tonight. Frustration over, hey, he's realizing he can't win the big one without being a bad guy. He can't win it. And so like, I think that is going to end up trumping him wanting to be a good guy. He's got to get that killer instinct back. And tonight we saw the beginnings of that, with Cody Rhodes kind of being condescending to him in the end, when Kevin Owens thinking to himself, I could have won this thing. I think it's a relatively interesting story. I think Cody, look, whether or not you like the guy, clearly he is what's best for business right now. Sells tons of merch. People love him. And he's a real draw, as they say in wrestling. So, you know, I guess you're not a Cody Rhodes fan. That's cool. Fair enough. I do think if they brought back one of them ECW one night stand paper, I would love that. I would love one night stand to come back. I wonder if the crowds are even able to be that vocal anymore, the way they were back in 2005 and 2006. Those are really special shows. Let's move on to the next one. Random Dragon says Cody should turn on Kevin Owens. I don't think WWE is ready for Cody to be a bad guy yet, especially when clearly he's going to be taking on The Rock at WrestleMania either this year or next year. I think they make too much money with him as a good guy. I don't know if he'll ever turn into a bad guy. I'd love to see it too. On the other hand, we saw what Cody was like as a bad guy in the AEW, because that was his version of a bad guy. It kind of sucked. So if he did that, it would have to be somebody else writing the character. The Wallinator says Kevin Owens' conflicted emotions during the match told a better story than a heel turn would have at any point leading up to it. I agree completely. I think they got to slow burn this. I do think that he's going to go, but look, SmackDown they need a big heel like him. And I feel like they are going to get there as my dog gets up. I feel like they're going to get there. It's just you got to go through a process. I think they want things to make sense now when they do big story beats like that. As my dog goes heel on this video, just over here, man, over here. Or in your bed, lay down here. Okay, man. Diehard Omer says Cody's story until The Rock comes back should be giving title shots to everyone Roman beat or screwed over. That would have made more sense than just saying, here you go, Kevin Owens. I actually really like that idea. I think that's pretty good. I think him being like, hey, you know what? You got screwed over, you got screwed over, you got screwed over, you got screwed over. Line up, and then everybody gets a shot at the title because you all got screwed. I think that's a really good idea. I mean, it probably would be a logistical nightmare because other people are like in stories and they got to arrange things via the draft and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of like that idea. I think it's a good one. A Bridger Man, Cody versus KO was Cody's best match since Mania. The in-ring storytelling was near flawless, great chemistry. It was definitely the most story we've gotten in a Cody match since he's been back. Obviously, he had that Solo Sikoa match, the Bloodline stuff, that's one thing. But in terms of, I was cheering, if you guys are watching the live stream, I was rooting for Kevin Owens to go after Cody's knee. When Kevin Owens realized that Cody was bullshitting him on SmackDown, and he saw that Cody's knee gave out, he was like, what the hell? It is bum. And then he had to bring himself to take it, to attack the knee. And then he had to like think about whether or not he was going to apron powerbomb him. All that doubt right there, keeping him from winning the title. I thought that was the most story we've seen in a match. Now it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. David Mitchell says, time for people to stop discrediting Cody and his title reign. The guy has defended on every premium live event since Mania, has had nothing but great matches so far. I agree with you, David. I think Cody's great, man. I think his title run has been good. It's been okay. It's been all right. You need some more story though, man. You got to inject some story into this. Crunchy Taco says CM Punk is indeed not washed. What did he give Drew, like 5 or 6 GTSs? I was impressed, and I was very happy to see that it seems like, at least at this point, his body held up. No injuries. That was an incredibly physical match. All those GTSs, getting giant Drew McIntyre up on his shoulder like 5 or 6 times. You could tell at the end of the match also CM Punk seemed to be pretty pleased with how it turned out. Look, I know I criticized the 4-corner stipulation. I thought the lights were kind of goofy and, to be honest, kind of useless because we don't really need them. But the match itself I thought was really good. It didn't really need the 4-corner stipulation. It really didn't. I don't really think it added to the drama to be reaching out like that for it. But whatever, they went old school with it, so I'm fine with it. So yeah, CM Punk beat Drew McIntyre. We're going to dive into a bunch of those takes right now. Super the Great One says, after tonight, Punk and McIntyre need to main event Bad Blood Hell in a Cell. I do think that this is a main event worthy feud that they got going on right now. It seems like they're going to probably be doing a rubber match. CM Punk has said that he wants to move on to the World Championship. I feel like Drew McIntyre is going to have something to say about that. He's going to say, why should you move on when I have one win on you as well? Then they take it to Hell in a Cell. At that point, I don't know who wins. I'm thinking maybe Drew McIntyre because he's like younger and there's less of a chance his body's going to give out. CM Punk can challenge him for the world title at WrestleMania if Drew ends up winning the title between now and then, but he's got to beat Gunther for it. I don't know how likely that is to happen. John O'Davies says the strap match managed to be entertaining and completely stupid at the same time. That is when wrestling is at its best. When it's absurd and entertaining and still dramatic and very physical and impressive with the violence that it brings. It was kind of everything, all that wrapped into one. Maybe a bit heavy on the absurdity thanks to the 4 corners, but yeah, I liked the match. I thought it was fun. Skyward Bound says CM Punk hitting 4 GTSs in a row was a bit excessive. It doesn't make anything worse and is more of a nitpick to me, but I just think after the second one, that was enough. I think he was trying to prove a point. I think the point was, I can do this. I'm fine. My body will hold out. And there is 1 GTS for every. I mean, I know he did 1 earlier or 2 earlier, whatever it was, but then he does 1 for each corner, to really stick it to Drew, a guy who he has stuck it to many, many times. And now I expect Drew to stick it to him now. So I don't know. We'll see. Dark Dank Lucha says the Drew Punk feud has been a great feud in everything except in-ring stuff. Both their matches felt super melodramatic and just dragged on too long. I disagree with this. I think they've been gimmicked. I think maybe we could use just straight up match, but Hell in a Cell isn't. Look, Hell in a Cell is a gimmick match, but it's also like not 4 corners and not with some goofball special guest referee. And I just called Seth Rollins a goofball. I'm sorry, Seth. But it's like just a straight up. I mean, honestly, Hell in a Cell is just a cage match, So it's just a cage match, which, yeah, it's a gimmick. But it's also just a straight up, okay, now we've got nothing left but violence. That's all we've got left. Nobody has to touch a corner. Nobody has to deal with a ref yelling at you. It's just, you just do violence, and that's all you do. And I feel like that's what it needs. It just needs straight up, just no absurdity, no goofiness, no story, just violence. That's what you need. Roger Babin says Gunther versus Orton was a slow, plodding, largely uninteresting 1.5-star match elevated by a molten crowd. 1.5 stars? Damn, you're harsh. That is hard. It was a 34-minute match. And yes, it was plodding. And yes, at times it was slow. I would not give it close to 1.5 stars. I thought the crowd was awesome. We're going to talk about the crowd here in a second. But I don't know. I thought the match was really good. I thought it was really good. Maybe they could have shaved 10 minutes off of it. But I thought it was worthy of Gunther's first real big world title defense. I thought it was a really, really solid one. And yeah, I thought it was much better than their King of the Ring match. And I think they set out to do that. Randy Orton got a super long entrance. Maybe that sort of hurt, the overall perception of the match in terms of like, oh my God, this match was so slow. Maybe, I don't know. This is an 8 says, I want Ludwig to introduce me at my wedding. As long as your wedding's in Germany, yeah, because man, that crowd went crazy for Ludwig. I went crazy for Ludwig when he just teleported there next to Samantha and was like, "Give me the microphone." Duh. Gorilla Mon says, in my opinion, Gunther versus Randy was already 5 stars, but Gunther extending the hand after the match was the moment of the night for me, and that elevated my personal rating of the match to 5.5 stars. You gave it a whole extra half star just for the handshake. Wow. Hey, I think that's awesome, though. If you love the match that much, that means you really, really had a good time watching it, and I love that about it. That's what pro wrestling should be. It should just be strict, like pure entertainment for people to get soaked into the action. So that's good. 5.5 stars. That's a lot. Sir Sketch Forth says, Orton versus Gunther was very boring. Orton just made it very slow and plodding. Should have been Ilya versus Gunther. So apparently they did Gunther versus Ilya at the SmackDown Dark match on Friday night. That's why Gunther's chest was all beat up coming into this match. So I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there. Granville Nation says Gunther is a more credible world champion than Cody at this point, and I'm a bigger Cody Glazer than Steve. I didn't realize that existed. A bigger Cody Glazer than me. Yeah, I don't know, man. Cody beat Roman. Cody beat Roman. Cody beat Roman. Raya Baker says the Judgment Day looked like complete geeks without being able to get the upper hand in on the Terror Twins at any major point in the last month or so. Think the heels need the cheap win tonight. Yeah. I was kind of surprised that they didn't give this win to the Judgment Day, although I guess they somehow need to motivate Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan sooner than later. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest is still a match that has to happen, so I don't know if that's all going to go down at Bad Blood. At that point, you're talking 2 singles matches just with the Judgment Day. Drew versus Punk. Cody's going to be on the card, and then I don't know what else would go on there, but already you've kind of loaded that card up. Maybe I'll do I'm going to predict the Bad Blood card this coming week, because those 4 matches right there all seem kind of on the obvious side. They might also do Braun Breaker in the Intercontinental Championship match, whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way out of the tournament, but that feels like more of a Raw match. What was the question here? It was, the Judgment Day. Yeah, they look bad. They can't get shit done. Let's take a look at this next take here. Senor Alien says Bronson Reed should join Judgment Day since Priest and Ripley are making light work of these scrubs. All you can eat tsunamis to get heat back tomorrow on Raw. That is not a terrible idea. They need somebody that isn't Finn Balor that's competent, because let's be honest, even Finn Balor couldn't rally his troops together to get the job done. Bronson Reed would be a terrific addition to the Judgment Day. I think that's a great idea. You got to start. Judgment Day should no longer be. This is how you do it too. This is how you do it. I hate saying this. You kick Carlito out. You replace Carlito with Bronson Reed. You have Bronson Reed come in and tsunami the shit out of Carlito multiple times, and they bring him into the fold as part of that. Ooh, that'd be a lot of heat, because people still really like Carlito. OC Scope says, I don't think Judgment Day are surviving this feud. They're definitely going to go their separate ways. It'll be interesting to see if Dom sinks or swims then. I think Dom will be fine. Interesting take, though, that you think Judgment Day is going to break up as a result of this feud. I hadn't even thought about that. I kind of doubt that's going to be the case, but I don't know. I guess anything is possible, and I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility. That's an interesting take. Ramon K. Texas says Jade and Kevin should have turned heel. Triple H's long-term booking is overrated. Jade turning heel, I don't like it. Her and Bianca need like that long, definitive tag team title reign. Plus, getting Jade those reps in as the tag team, I still think is important. Here's the thing. No, I don't think anybody would want that if they told some damn stories in the women's tag division or in the women's division in total. Right now, there's just a very small handful of actual stories being told. It's just like, Pure Fusion Collective shows up and they're like, hey, we're here now and everybody is on notice. And then Damage Control's like, yeah, but we're a team also and we're better. There's no real story there. They need to get stuff going on. Kind of like when the Final Testament just kept on hammering home the same thing with the New Day. But then Kofi brings in Odyssey Jones. Oh, whoa, wait a second. Now it's kind of interesting. You need some interesting character dynamics within all these groups right here and loop them into the women's tag division. You got to do that. The men's tag divisions too. They're doing nothing with that stuff. Colors by Lori says the ring looks 100 times better without the LED screens on the side. WWE needs to keep it this way for every premium live event. Interestingly enough, this was the most thumbed up, the most liked comment out of everything coming out of Berlin, which I don't know how to take because, and I appreciate all your opinions on this. I really do. And I appreciate those that pay that close attention to detail. I don't give a living fuck what that looks like. You can have LEDs, you can have advertisements, you can have the barricade be one big LED for Pringles or fucking whatever, Bardol. I don't care. That stuff just disappears from me. You can load up that mat with all sorts of advertisements. I wouldn't notice. Would not notice. I'd probably notice it for a split second, then I'd go back to what's going on. I simply pay attention to the wrestlers in the ring. The other stuff doesn't distract me. That's just me, though. That's just me. On top of that, you guys can't see it. It's not in frame. But I watch it on my laptop because I do the live streaming stuff over the Going Raw stuff. I don't pay attention to that. And I'm not saying that as like, hey, fuck you. I'm saying that as that's interesting to me that people out there do notice that. That's interesting to me because for whatever reason, I don't. Maybe I'm old. I don't know. Son Hova says, Hunter is doing his best. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that I'm a Triple H guy. I'd like to think that he's doing his best. I'd like to think that he's up late at night. You know, he's still getting his 8 hours of sleep because that's healthy. But I'd like to think that he's sitting there really putting a lot of thought into how is it that I can entertain these people the best? I want to be the best entertainer and the best storyteller. There you go, a little Triple H impression for the end. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys around.